I've been told she's been held up in the channels. Deputy Cuív, Minister Flanagan is here. We'll move with your topical, which is to discuss the location of a superintendent position and the status of Clifden Garda, the regional headquarters, and provide for all policing business bilingually. That's your motion. 4 minutes to put your case.
Good evening, Margaret. And I'd like to thank the Minister for coming in person. It's always helpful when the Minister responsible comes and takes the issue. Minister, just to recap very briefly the history, before I entered politics, there were 2 superintendents based in Connemara, one in Uachtarard and one in Clifden. And in a decision made, which was made before my time in politics, but was made by a Fianna Fáil minister, the headquarters for East Connemara was moved into Salt Hill Barracks, but the regional headquarters for the rest of Connemara remained in Clifden. Now we now understand that the proposal is that the headquarters for all of Connemara will be in Salt Hill, and that means that Galway City will have actually the headquarters for all of Connemara, as well as the regional headquarters for the whole of the region, a massive, fantastic new building that you yourself opened, but to which no notice was given until the last minute. Some of us never got the notice yet, but we'll park that. It's not the subject of my question today. Now, the second thing is there was an issue that had been raised about having an office with an inspector in Carrow that would be specifically for the Gaeltacht area, which would be a sub-region for the Gaeltacht area. And we understand that that's not going to happen either. And finally, there's a huge need to ensure that right up to the level of superintendent, that all of those dealing with the Gaeltacht area, which happens to be the biggest Gaeltacht area in the country, and where things such as court cases are habitually carried out in Irish only when, of course, the other side can deal with you in Irish, and this is always the thing that forces language choice. It's something that forces language choice on me every day. My office deals with all those who deal with us capably in Irish, but we deal with those who deal with us only capably in the English language in the pragmatic way through English. So my question to you, and we won't beat around the bush, is why will there not be a regional headquarters for Connemara based in Connemara with the superintendent based in Clifden, as was always the case? And secondly, why isn't there a sub-regional office for the Gaeltacht with an inspector in it going to be based in Chatarua? And thirdly, can you ensure that the Gardaí of all ranks that will be dealing with the Gaeltacht area of Connemara, which is about half of Connemara, will be able to do their business in both official languages in a fully competent manner? So that will be the Canafort, the Kigida, the Sarchanty, agus the Gardaí in that area, that they'll be able to go in and do the business, for example, Sigurd in Nernay or in Kilronine, through Irish or English, depending on the language chosen by the defendant, and do their business before it ever gets to a court in those languages, as the case may arise. So that's basically it, and we won't waste any more time beating about the bush.
Karen Nomis.
Thanks, Gaelic. I don't wish any inconvenience in any of the deputies. My understanding was that I was number 2, and it was only when I saw that number 1 hadn't commenced and saw that Deputy Cuív was here that I came into the chamber rather hurriedly. I wasn't aware of anything else. And if I heard Deputy Cuív correctly, did he say he hadn't been invited to the official opening of the Garda station in Galway? If that is the case, I'm very sorry that that happened. As the senior deputy for the area, I did miss him on the occasion of the opening, which I think was the last day of July, or certainly the last weekend of July. While I didn't issue the invitations, I would have to say that, of course, an invitation should have issued to the senior deputy for the area. I'm sorry that took place, and I'll certainly check it out, because the deputy should have been present. because I know the Deputy would have made representations on the matter, and it's important to him in his constituency and the people he represents. But also Deputy Cuív would appreciate the allocation of Garda resources, including personnel, as a matter for the Garda Commissioner and the management team of the Garda Commissioner. I don't have an immediate or direct role in that regard. However, I'm informed by the Garda Commissioner that the matter of the deployment of Garda personnel, that a distribution model is used which takes into account all relevant factors, including population and crime trends and the policing needs of the individual Garda division, including the Galway division, with a view towards providing an effective and responsive police service. Clifden Garda Station is the district headquarters for the Clifden Garda division, which forms part of the overall Galway division. I'm informed by the Commissioner that Superintendent District Officer was assigned to the district in August of this year. That Superintendent is based in the Clifden Garda Station. This was to fill the vacancy created by the transfer of the previous District Officer to take up the position of Detective Superintendent with responsibility for the Western region, which would be in the Galway headquarters. The Garda strength of the Clifden District on the 31st of October, the latest date for which figures are readily available, was 34. The 29 Garda reserves, 67 Garda civilian staff attached to the Galway division. In addition, when appropriate, the work of the local Garda is supported by a number of Garda national units, such as the National Bureau of Criminal Investigation, the Armed Support Unit, the Garda National Economic Crime Bureau, the Garda National Drugs and Organised Crime Bureau. Deputy Cuív will be aware community policing is the heart of An Garda Síochána, provides a means of recognising that every community has its own concerns and expectations, has been one of the key strengths of the organisation throughout its history. In that regard, a key focus of the ongoing reform in An Garda Síochána is the modernisation of the way in which policing services are delivered, so as to provide a better service to communities. Currently, a new divisional policing model is being piloted in 4 divisions across the country, including Galway. This new model was recommended by the Garda Síochána Inspectorate in 2015 to support the more flexible and effective deployment of resources. I want to refer to the Commission on Future Policing, which recommended a move towards a new local model for policing. With regard to Gaeltacht policing, I am advised by the Commission that the Garda Síochána are fully committed to fulfilling their obligations under the Official Languages Act and the 20-year strategy for the Irish language, one of the objectives of which is that the use of Irish language by An Garda Síochána will be continued and developed. Eligible applicants for An Garda Síochána who are fluent Irish speakers may opt to be considered for inclusion in a specialist Irish language stream with the overall recruitment competition run by the Public Appointments Service. Candidates appointed from the Irish language stream are expected to provide a full range of services in the Irish language. Successful candidates allocated to Gaeltacht areas for a period of time as determined by the Garda Commissioner.
Thank you very much. Deputy Cuív, you have 2 minutes for a supplementary statement.
Minister, unfortunately I didn't get the script in. It seems to me that we get an answer, yeah, there is a superintendent there. And that's paragraph 1, and you go to 2 and to 3 and to 4, and then you get to the meat of the issue in paragraph 5 about this new division of policing model that has been piloted in 4 divisions across the country, including Galway. And basically our clear understanding on the ground is to what this means in simple English, when you strip away all the verbiage stuff that you're presented with as a minister, is that there will be no superintendent based in Clifden, and that superintendent will be fundamentally based in Galway City and Salt Hill. I have to say that this is not a matter of local deployment, it's a matter of national policy. It seems to me that the national policy is stripping everything out of the rural areas and centralising everything into major urban areas. And therefore, what I'm asking you is, on a basis of national policy, which is the remit of the Minister, are you willing to direct that rural areas would retain their key role in the provision of services and headquarters, not on a basis of the whole county, but on the region, and Connemara is a very distinct region. And in my humble opinion, if you were dividing the area, all of Connemara, as defined from the county out, should be one Garda subsection, or whatever you want to call it. Now, can I also say, in the 2 seconds left to me,
Thank you, Deputy.
in relation to the Irish language, we get verbose wording here about objectives and we're committed to. I asked a simple question. Are they going to ensure that all the Garda who deal with the Gaeltacht, at all levels, directly,
Thank you.
will be able to do their business in the Irish language? It's a simple question to an Garda Síochána. And I have to say that the answer here is vague, to say the very least of it.
I said to Deputy Cuív, his opinion is never humble. I very much value his experience of many years representing the people of the west of Ireland and the area to which this debate is referred in particular. And I've listened very closely to what he said. I reject his assertion that this is part of a grand plan to remove services from rural Ireland. In fact, let me say the opposite, that both myself and my government colleagues are committed to ensuring that the Garda Commissioner has the resources to deliver an effective and modern and visible and available policing service to all communities throughout the country, including Connemara and the Gaeltacht area. In fact, over the last few years, unprecedented resources have been made available to the Commissioner to implement the Garda Modernisation and Renewal Plan. I want in particular to acknowledge the leadership of the former Acting Commissioner Donald O'Coolan, a constituent of the deputies, and his leadership over a period of time until he gave way to the recently appointed Garda Commissioner Drew Harris. Can I say that the resources are now coming on stream across all Garda divisions, including the Galway division, in order to ensure availability and visibility of Gardaí. In fact, I'm informed by the Commissioner that since the reopening of the Garda College in September 14, almost 2,200 recruits have attested as members of an Garda Síochána, been assigned to mainstream duties across the country, of whom 31 have been assigned to the Galway division. In July of this year, I had the pleasure of attending the official opening of the Western Regional Garda headquarters in Murrah in Galway. I'm confident, and I invite Deputy Cuív to agree with me, that the new regional headquarters will become a vital part of the infrastructure of the Galway area, but will also support the delivery of an effective policing service to communities right across the Galway division and the Clifden district. I don't have time to repeat the points I made about the Irish language, but I would be happy to provide Deputy Cuív with further information on Irish language, on Garda Síochána, and what I would see as a need for Gardaí in Gaeltacht areas to be in a position to conduct their business in the medium of the Irish language. But it's an issue that I'll take up privately with the Deputy in view of the time constraint.
Now.